everybody. It is Reid Mahelko from readaboutsex.com, and I'm wearing my Sex Geek Summer Camp t-shirt today. And when I wear the green t-shirt, that means I'm usually giving business advice for sex educators, workshop facilitators, anybody who's like a sex-positive healer or educator or a sex-positive entrepreneur, however you want to identify. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm broadcasting on my Facebook page, and that way I can hopefully see comments as they come in. There we go. Great. You can see comments now, and I need to shut off my computer so you don't hear me hearing myself. And good morning, everyone. I want to let people know that the reason I'm wearing my baseball cap is I have a horrible bedhead. I got to sleep really late last night, and most of that I was working on an email blast for my sex educator email list. I call them my Sex Geek Pros, and I got really into geeking out on the email. And first off, I just want to say, I just want to thank Kathy Bartuli for all the work that Kathy does, helping me behind the scenes on a bunch of stuff, and Kathy is running again this year. She's the event organizer for Sex Geek Summer Camp, which I'm super excited about, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole last night working on an email just kind of talking about that this week and these last couple of weeks and couple of months have been, difficult, air quotes, difficult for me as a, extroverted, cisgendered white guy running around in America. And so I, was getting all into the email and feeling all weird about talking about like deep things because I'm supposed to be the fun guy, and the golden retriever on espresso never gets bummed out. And I've been not struggling with capital letters, but I guess it's kind of worried and realizing, like, trying to figure out like how to stay grounded, how to take better care of myself, and how to kind of get a little bit momentum so that I can feel like I'm making a difference in the world where things feel like they're, to me, not to everybody, feel like they're backsliding. And especially the attack on Planned Parenthood and just people's access to birth control and things like that. Like, for me as a sex educator, that's really important, that people have choice, and educated and informed choice. And like that if we're gonna debate beliefs, like, that we get to listen to each other, and have a discourse and agree to disagree sometimes. Like, I'm an ex-New Yorker. We love to tell people to go fuck themselves, and in a weird way, as a New Yorker, you appreciate it when somebody says it to you right to your face, and you're like, thank you for telling me to fuck off. You screw yourself too. And so, like, but there's a difference between being present with each other and then just yelling over each other, or not listening to people at all and being closed-minded. And as a geek, part of me and my geekery is to, when can I catch myself not being open-minded and trying to, absorb new information? Because that information might help me become a better lover. That information, like, I didn't know the clitoris had legs and that you could massage, things, and I didn't know that years ago. And so, I just feel like the world is, falling apart in a certain way, and I'm worried. And so I was talking about that last night. But the business part of all of this is, hi, Jean Marie. Good morning, Karen. Or Carrie, hi. So the business part of this for my educators and my, maybe you're an entrepreneur and this business advice is useful for you. This is good advice for just people in general who are trying to help other people and sell their expertise, make a living, pay their bills off of helping people. One of the ways to make things affordable for your fans and followers and customers, potential clients, is creating payment options. And the bigger picture is I believe, and a lot of experts out there who do stuff online believe giving your advice away for free in very structured ways. Like I'm doing a Facebook Live for free and getting it out there, and hopefully people will share it. It'll improve people's lives, but put content out there in ways where everybody can access it, or at least everybody who has an internet connection and a smartphone or a laptop, or can sit in an internet cafe. Put your information out there in ways where people can consume it, and then as you go deeper or provide people with more support or give them access to you in person, because there's only so many hours in a week that you can actually be with people or be in a certain place for them to be in the room or face-to-face with you. As you give them more structure and more support, or more of your actual FaceTime than, or on a phone call, Skype kind of time, that's where you invite them to pay you so that you can exchange your information with the support that will help them integrate it. Because you can just, I have several online courses. I have a business online course for sex educators that, every once in a while, a sex educator who's really broke and struggling was like, hey, can you help me out? And I'm like, oh, well, here's access to the course. All I ask is that you leave comments in it and let me know how it's going. And I had to stop doing that because I was getting angry because I had done that about a dozen times, and no one, with the exception of one person, no one out of a dozen left any comments. And from what I could tell, the times I gave the course away, no one ever completed the course. And so, there's some psychological studies and stuff like that on how to, people will invest their time and focus in things that they've invested in a capitalistic society. That's usually money. But, if you're putting out your content out there in certain ways for free, it's a great way for people to get to know you and trust you, and then you build the support and design into your workshops and programs so that they can win. And I like, setting it up in a way where it's accessible for people in financial ways for them to be able to support my work, while I design smartly, hopefully, ways to support them. And so one of those things that kind of brings us to this place is when you're setting up your programs or workshops and charging money for them, then you might want to create certain payment plans. And so the email that I was working on last night was also motivated by the fact that not many, but a handful of people in my community of sex geeks had reached out and saying, hey, I want to come to Sex Geek Summer Camp. I can't afford the one pay option, and I can't afford the 3-pay option. Is there another payment plan that you have? And while the advice that every marketer will give you is don't create a ton of different payment plans, because you're just going to be juggling and it makes more work for you, and then you might get passive aggressive to your fans and followers, and they don't deserve that. What we did last night was create a 5-pay payment plan where people can put $69 down and then do 4 monthly payments of $120 so that they can come to camp. And so that spurred the whole thing, and then I stayed up till 3 a.m. writing an email and tweaking an email. But the main point I want to talk about, just education-wise, is creating payment plans can be really helpful and useful for your demographics. And yes, it can be a pain in the butt sometimes because you're wrangling situations I know when I do payment plans myself for things, that is, of course, the debit card or the credit card that the bank calls you and tells you they have to swap out because of identity theft or something, and then that payment plan gets screwed up and you have to re-enter everything. But I think it's worth the trouble to help people come to your workshops. I would recommend that you do a full pay and then a monthly 3 pay, and that you have a shopping cart system that can do automatic payments. Just do automatic payments. Please, please, please do automatic payments. And, kind of automate things as much as you can. And I recommend that you don't do more than 3 pay. I have done 9 pays. They are a pain in my ass, but I was also kind of testing them. And then, the 5 pay, I just think it's really important when you're working with demographics where people are struggling financially, that you give them ways to win and invest in themselves. And if you're going to stretch something out over 5 months, what can you give them during those 5 months to keep engaging them in a retention kind of way? In the marketing world, it would be called like a retention bonus or a retention sequence. And then I believe in those 5 months or in those 3 months, what can you give people to prep them, keep them engaged, keep them invested, wanting to come to your event, and help them, train them in those 3 months, 5 months, or whatever it is, so that they arrive at your event even in a better place and can go deeper with you. It's a little extra work, but once you start thinking in these ways, you just automatically start doing life like it's a retention bonus, and that kind of engagement, and especially when you're training people for free in ways that work congruently for you, I think everybody wins, and it just continues to get people connected with you, and you're helping people. So if you don't like helping people, if you're just in this for the money, if you are, if your content is crap, none of this works. None of this works. Sincerity, authenticity, role modeling, being human, and also striving for excellence. Like, these are the spices you have to put into the soup these days. And I was gonna run and go to take a shower before I did my thing, and I'm like, no, like, I'm gonna do my bedhead and put on my baseball cap, and it's more important to get the video out than how my hair looks today. And my hair has a life of its own often. So those are the main things. I saw a really great question about sliding scales. So I can't. Oh, Anne, thank you, Anne, for the question. I do sliding scales for my coaching, and so me personally, you get to figure this out yourself. I do sliding scales for my coaching, and sometimes for certain kinds of appearances. Like for college gigs, I have a sliding scale. And I just ask colleges, if you can afford more, please pay me more, because it allows me to work with colleges that have lower budgets. And then I just trust everybody to be honest with me and just be real. When I do coaching, I have a sliding scale, and you can go to readaboutsex.com/coaching and see what that is. And, sliding scale, I just ask people, hey, pay, if you can make the bottom part of the scale, we're good. Like, I already ran the numbers. I know what my life needs money-wise to be working well. So that bottom end of the scale works really well for me. If you want to pay me more, please do. If you really want to freak me out and put me into abundance issues mode, then pay the higher end of the sliding scale. And then every once in a while, I get coaching, clients who are like, oh, well, I am fortunate to have a lot of, money or whatever, abundance, and so let me freak you out and write you a really big check. I want you to be dealing more with abundance issues than issues of scarcity. But one of the reasons I can do sliding scale is if somebody can't afford to hire me one-on-one, what I have already in place are a bunch of courses and programs and free information. So if somebody can't afford me, I just point them at my YouTube channel. If they want business coaching and they can't afford me, if they want mentoring, point them to my YouTube channel and say, just click on the 4 Sex Educators playlist. Almost all of the advice, except for the stuff that I'm implementing, like the new stuff, almost all of my advice is already on my YouTube channel. These Facebook Live videos will, I'm saving them on my phone and I will upload them onto my YouTube channel. So a lot of what I'm already doing is out there. You just have to sit through a bunch of, however many hundreds of videos there are on my YouTube channel. And, if you have a question, you can leave a comment or send me an email, but I'm not going to be able to answer it immediately and give you the support that I could if we were doing a coaching call. And when you start kind of building your life in this way and structuring it, like, at least for me, it feels congruent. Now, if you have a lot of thoughts or challenges with capitalism, then my approach, you're going to have to tweak. But a lot of the marketing and how you help people and give people access to the tools and skills you have, I think even in a non-capitalistic way, you can still use that setup where you're helping people for free as a means of them getting to know you, and then they can, do barter or whatever that is. Note on barter, if you're going to do barter, have them provide their service first, and then you provide yours. If I'm open to other people's thoughts on that, but I've gotten burned too many times, and it makes me angry at those people. So always, as the educator, always give other people the structure so that they can win, and that's a self-care structure so that you don't get passive-aggressive on folks. If you're feeling passive-aggressive, it usually means there's something you missed about self-care for yourself or boundary setting for yourself. Or you said yes when really you were a no, and you didn't give yourself a permission to change your mind. So I hope that stuff's useful for you. Thoughts on sliding scales? Hi, Leanne. Philip. Narelle. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sometimes living in Australia is problematic. Would love to attend the camp. I've done it online. I've done the online, but in-person camp would be awesome. Narelle? I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. If anybody wants to bring camp to another part of the world, I mean, my email's working. I'm waiting for the invitations. We just need to figure out how to make the money and all of it work. But maybe someday, Sex Geek Summer Camp, the business retreat for sex educators, will go international. Who knows? All right, Marissa, hi. Okay, and the YouTube channel is readaboutsex. It's youtube.com/readaboutsex. I'll post the link to the email last night. If you're not on my Sex Geek Pro mailing list, I posted the email on my website, and I'll drop the link in the comments. But you could also go to readaboutsex.com/SexGeekPro and just get on the list, and then you'll get my late night, sometimes not late night emails. I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening and for putting up with my my treadmill stuff. Yesterday I also was cleaning up my office, changed the lighting a little bit, and what you can't see is the rest of the mess that is there. But someday maybe I'll give you a tour of the office. And then I have a surprise. I'm going to try to get it installed tomorrow for our walk together. Yeah, so I'll let you know how that goes, but it's a surprise. And then last but not least, share the video today, leave a comment, every once in a while there's like a burst of hearts and stuff that flows across the screen. So I'm assuming that's all you, but could everyone like hit like or heart or something? I just want to see if we can create in real time a burst of these things. Oh look, it's working. Oh, that's so cool. Oh wow, it's like I don't know why that's so cool. I don't know, I'm just a dork. All right. Oh, look, it's like bubbles. That's what it is. It's like tiny bubbles of love. I know for some of you, tomorrow might be a tough day or a cause for celebration. Wherever you are on the spectrum of how you think the world is going today, please do not stop what you're doing. Whatever your political beliefs are, there are so many people that are feeling ashamed about themselves, their bodies, their desires, and we need to help people own more of who they are and learn how to embrace their desires and not feel broken. So please don't give up. Please don't stop being who you are, and thank you for being a part of my community. That's it. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
I hope this business geekery was useful for you. If you'd like to continue with the brain sex, click on subscribe up here. If you want to follow me on social media, right here, ladies and gentlemen, next video below. And if you'd like your very own Sex Geek Summer Camp t-shirt, then just click right here, right now. Boop. Go ahead.